Paragraph 12 of Chapter 2 of Revelation, its Grand Climax at Hand, is pure Jehovah's Witness theology. With a subtle misreading of Matthew chapter 3, verse 17, it reinterprets Jesus' baptism, turning the event into proof of their doctrines about God's spiritual organization, Jesus' appointment as King-Designate, and his identity as the Messianic seed of the woman. Let's take a closer look. The first claim is that Jehovah there begot Jesus with Holy Spirit. Matthew chapter 3, verse 17 reads, "Look, also, a voice from the heavens said, 'This is my Son, the beloved whom I have approved.'" Scholars almost universally see this as a scriptural collage. The first part is Psalm chapter 2, verse 7. In the New World Translation it reads, "Let me proclaim the decree of Jehovah. He said to me, 'You are my son. Today I have become your father.' But in other translations it reads something like, 'You are my son. Today I have begotten you.'" This is royal enthronement language. In the ancient world, kings were called sons of God by adoption or enthronement. To cite this psalm is to declare Jesus as God's anointed king, not to narrate biological sonship. This psalm is quoted elsewhere in the New Testament. See Acts chapter 13, verse 33, and Hebrews chapter 1, verse 5, and chapter 5, verse 5 as messianic proof texts. The second part is Isaiah chapter 42, verse 1, the servant of the Lord. "Look, my servant whom I support, my chosen one, whom I have approved. I have put my spirit in him. He will bring justice to the nations." This emphasizes mission, obedience, and suffering service. The result of the collage is that Jesus is simultaneously God's king and God's servant. Jehovah's Witnesses import Psalm chapter 2, verse 7's begetting directly into Matthew chapter 3, verse 17. But the Greek text of Matthew avoids genao, meaning beget, and the choice of eudokisa, meaning I am pleased, shows dependence on Isaiah chapter 42, not Psalm chapter 2 alone. The point is not a change in Jesus' status, becoming God's son at baptism, but rather a revelation of who he already is and what role he will play. Jehovah's Witness theology leans towards Psalm chapter 2 alone and makes it override the Isaianic echo, whereas Matthew intentionally balances both. While Jehovah's Witnesses superimpose Psalm chapter 2's begotten onto Matthew chapter 3, verse 17 in their theology, they don't insert the word into their translation of that verse. The equivalent verse in Luke chapter 3, verse 22 reads, "And the Holy Spirit in bodily form like a dove came down upon him, and a voice came out of heaven, 'You are my son, the beloved. I have approved you.'" However, if we take a look at the Greek for Luke chapter 3, verse 22, we find that there are variant manuscripts which read, "You are my son, the beloved. Today I have begotten you." The "today I have begotten you" reading strongly implies a moment of divine adoption, enthronement, or appointment. In Luke, this would place Jesus begetting at baptism, not at pre-existence, birth, or resurrection. Many scholars, including Bart Ehrman, think this variant reflects an adoptionist Christology that was present in some strands of early Christianity, the belief that Jesus became God's son at his baptism or resurrection rather than being eternally so. The "today I have begotten you" variant would actually support a more adoptionist Christology than Jehovah's Witnesses could accept. They know about it, but can't use it without undermining their belief that Jesus was already God's son before his baptism. Ironically, this shows how much their theology depends on selecting which readings and interpretations fit their doctrinal system, even when alternatives would superficially seem to align. The claim that Jesus' baptism means that Jesus was there, identified as having been sent forth from God's spiritual organization in heaven, is not supported by any text that they quote. Because there is no text in the Bible that states explicitly that there is a spiritual organization in heaven. Also, as discussed in previous videos, their theological methods for getting to that spiritual organization in heaven do not add up when examined. Further, secular scholars agree that the Bible portrays Jesus as the Messiah, an anointed figure with a future or heavenly kingship. But in the New Testament, he is not explicitly described as being formally appointed as king in a bureaucratic or organizational sense, as Jehovah's Witnesses claim. At some point in the future, we will discuss other ideas found in this paragraph, but that is all for this video. Don't forget to check the description for more resources.